I want to congratulate, this is our first time together since it's been announced, but congratulate Quinn Buckner on behalf of everybody in Indiana basketball. What a tremendous honor to go into that Hall of Fame. It's a strong list, it's a strong group that's already in, and he is as deserving as any. And we all have our memories. I have my memories. Certainly Indiana fans and Hoosier Nation has their memories, but I think the common theme for a guy like that throughout his career, throughout his business career, his TV career, his coaching career, would be tremendous leader, consummate winner. And I think what I've learned here and seen, and you just hear about it, see it, just still so close with his teammates and the guys that he played with. And they don't have to be over here every day for us to know that they got a really close group. And the respect level that group has for one another, I mean, that's what you would hope a championship team would look like. And I think Quinn's got a lot to do with that. So we're extremely happy for him, and I'm sure all of the state of Indiana is, but especially with what he did in Indiana basketball. So just a tremendous, tremendous thanks. As far as for us getting ready to play, we're excited to be home. I thought our crowd was excellent the other night, and the energy was really good in there, and we've got to have every bit of that tomorrow night when we have the best fans in America, and we've got the best students, and when they're in a fever pitch, everybody sees it, and most importantly, everybody feels it. And we're looking forward to the game. I think our players are really looking forward to it. They know that we have to play better against Purdue based on what we did the first time. They know that we have to be tougher, we have to be smarter, we have to move the ball at an extremely good rate. We've got to play through the physicality of the game. We've got to keep playing through the ruts and the runs and things of that nature inside of the game. But they're looking forward to playing. And we haven't had a overly long week of practice because we didn't practice a long time yesterday and we didn't go on Monday. And I think it's really important, as I continue to learn as a coach, you got to spend time on your system. Okay, there's no doubt about that, but you can spend so much time on your system that you get away from what's really important. They're going to work on their shots, and we're going to work on their strength. I think you really got to make sure that you're working on their skills and that you're working on their speed, and that we're playing with the pace of the game when we work, that we're training in the sense of, in our drills, that there's a lot of speed to it. And our skills, it's not just the shooting skills, though those are important, the footwork, all those type of things, but it's the driving, it's the ball handling, it's the cutting and moving without the ball, it's the defensive stances, it's our closeouts, it's all those type of things, and never get away from that. So we try to go through them at a fast pace, but at a very needed pace, and have these guys continue to gain confidence on how much better they can get individually and as a team. And I think that's got as much to do with confidence as anything else, because we're going to need every bit of those skills, energy, toughness, all of that to beat Purdue. But we're looking forward to it. So go ahead.
Mark, when you go back and watch that Minnesota game, do you have any better idea of how you're going to be so successful rebounding, to out-rebound them by 19? I mean, anything you can translate?
We're just active. I think the ball bounced right a couple times offensively. I don't think there's any question about that. You know, when you're taking, we take 32 threes?
Yes.
Yeah, when you're taking threes, I think there's no question it's the bounce a little bit. But I think we were really committed to making sure we had 5 guys inside the paint to rebound. And that is just a matter of making contact, boxing out, and then certainly the ball's got to bounce your way. But I mean, we were inside the paint. We're in position for it to bounce our way. And I think that's really important. But again, we're not, when you watch us, you know what we're not. Okay, well, what we have to be, whether it's Troy, whether it's Hunter, whether it's Colin, because we spend so much time on the perimeter, whether it's James, whether it's Stan, any of those guys, they've got to fly to the offensive glass. And we always talk about not being in no man's land. Now, we don't send as many to the glass as we used to because we need to make sure our transition defense is really strong. But the ones that go have got to go. And if they don't go, then we've got to get it understood why, we've got to get it corrected, or we've got to change who's in the game. And I think that's one reason that James has been a pretty consistent rebounder. Troy knows that he has to go. And he also sees the dividends come back, you know, when he does that. Colin has got a sprint. It was one of the things that endeared him to the season. I mean, how well he hustled at the beginning of the year when he was coming off the bench. He would just chase balls down. And again, we're asking him to be in the three-point line as much as he's anywhere else, but he's still got to get to the glass. So just having that level of determination and concentration and focus is huge, and then just having the hustle game. right. Pete?
Tom, I think I have this right. Purdue's last 5 games, they haven't allowed more than 60 points. When you look
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So thanks for adding that.
No problem. You have the Big Ten's best offense against a defense that maybe is playing as well as any Big Ten defense. What's the keys for you going against a defense like that?
Moving the ball. Obviously, it starts with turnovers. We've got to attack their pressure better. We didn't do a very good job of that, and when we did, we got good sound shots. We missed shots up there too. Okay, I mean they defended us well, but we missed shots. But we also didn't adjust to who they were guarding and not guarding as well as we could have with movement, and that's where the ball. It's really not a matter of who they're guarding, what defense they're in. It's the same with what we see on any nightly basis. It's how well is the ball moving. And are you playing through the corners? Are you reversing the ball? Are you passing it quickly? You know, I always talk about obviously one dribble quicker. That's so important because they really do a great job of giving help defense. They get up into you. They make it hard for you to get by them, and they get right up into your body. They get that arm bar up there, and they make it hard for you to drive past them. So don't fight it. Okay, get the ball in movement, and again, you've got to spread them out because their help is so good, and they know that they can take some chances because they've got shot blockers behind them, and that's a real luxury. That's a luxury that we don't have. That's why we're not as much of a pressure, get out and deny type of team. We want to create deflections, but it's not about steals with us. It's more about getting the deflections because we don't have that ability to make up for mistakes in the back end. Well, they do, and so they can be that aggressive. So it's really just a matter of the ball movement, attacking the pressure better, taking care of the ball, and making sure that we're committed to the rebound. Zach?
I guess this is sort of a broader question, but I think these games haven't been close for a while, and in particular, too, results have kind of been skewed. You guys kind of controlled the rivalry for a little bit. They controlled it for a little bit before that. It's just kind of been a while, I guess, since it really had a back-and-forth competitiveness to it. With both of you kind of fighting for those same spots at the top of the Big Ten standings, I know obviously they had the win in West Lafayette earlier this year, but do you feel like these two programs are kind of rising a little bit together at this point?
Well, we respect their program. I haven't thought of it like that, so that's hypothetical to me, but what the record says is that they're really good. What my eyes see when I watch tape and watch him coach is that he's an outstanding coach with a great staff, and that they play extremely hard and competitive, can score a lot of different ways. They move without the ball. As well as anybody in the league, and they've got numerous ways to score, and because he's got the inside guys, it's really easy to get so distracted guarding them that you open up driving lanes, you open up back cuts, you open up offensive rebound opportunities certainly to them. So that's really how I view it as much as anything else, but we've got great respect for them. We know what the rivalry is, and it wouldn't be that way if over a period of time if the two teams perennially hadn't been good. So it all comes down to how we execute tomorrow night and how we deal with the pressure.
Tom, would you like to see this be a protected rivalry each year as opposed to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense for the fans, but there's any question. They've got great fans. We've got great fans. We've got, I'll argue for our fans with anybody in the country as far as having the best fans and the most passionate and most knowledgeable and the whole thing. So absolutely, I mean, it's a big deal. So I would hope it would, but I mean, I also understand they've got a lot of checks and balances that they've got to work through in this league as the league continues to expand. But this is one of the great rivalries in sports. So as far as college sports, so there's no question that if we play twice, everybody's gonna know when those dates are.
Tom, seems there's a rhythm to this offense. One guy hits a shot and they kind of start to go for everybody. Take anything into that? They feed off of each other?
Well, that wasn't the case in Maryland the other night. But
in a game like Sunday, though? Yeah,
Sunday, I think it's all ball movement. It really is. It's how quick can we move it and can we use the whole court, and especially in the front court. And when our screening and cutting and moving without the ball are good. I mean, we keep telling them all the time, you score without the ball and the ball finds energy. All right, you really do. You score without the ball. It's your cutting, and it's your movement. It's your screen and roll. You know, when you don't have it is when you're going to be the most open. If you did something, you get somebody else open. I mean, that's what they learn, hopefully, when they're starting to play the game. But they get away from it, right? I mean, because scoring is such an important thing, and we think we have to have the ball. Our best scoring comes when guys do not have the ball. very long, and our passes are high. They don't have to be incredibly high, because we're not always going to be an assist. You know, it was incredible how many assists we had the other night. You know, 23 on 32.
23 on 32.
Yeah, that's high. I mean, that's extremely high. And I never really look at that because we're such a driving team. But that's really big, and then the ball finds the energy. So if you're moving and you're cutting, and that's, you could put Troy up right now. When Troy's at his best, that ball finds him. I mean, and that absolutely finds him. And when our perimeter guys are moving without the ball, and their feet are right, and they're sprinting into the spots, and we're playing off the penetration, the ball finds them. And that's one reason that Yogi is so good. He can score, he can get 20 plus, well, he can get his teammates 20 plus. That's rare. And in the same night, there'll be a night here soon where he'll get 20 plus and he'll get his teammates 20 plus. Hope it's tomorrow night. But when the ball is moving with everybody, you're exactly right. That's crucial. And I think if it wasn't moving with somebody, it would stand out right now, and then they would probably not be in the game very long.
Okay. Just about out of time.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead. Cut it.
I noticed,
We're watching film first.
I think we all noticed you had Bill Belichick and Michael Lombardi in here yesterday. Sort of what did they say to the team, and what do you think your team took away from
Well, I think they took away a lot. With speakers, I'm never really into sharing everything that they said, because I think it's an absolute privilege to have them here. But I will tell you that there was a lot of takeaways on hard work and perseverance and doing the same thing every day. And one thing that I would think that they took away is that they didn't do, according to Coach Belichick, they didn't do anything different in the Super Bowl that they hadn't done every day for the 6 months prior. When it came to the hard work, the preparation, the competitiveness, the attention to detail, the work ethic that they put in. And he had a lot of different stories and analogies that went into that, but in the time that he spoke to them, because they watched practice more than anything else. But I thought that was really, really strong. And when they didn't need an introduction, and that was really strong. And he took questions, which I was thought was kind of cool too. You know, the guys had some questions about just different things with being a team and preparation, which I thought was really some mature questions in that way. So that was the biggest thing, and it was a privilege to have them here, have both of them here.
How was that set up? Do you have a pre-existing relationship with those guys?
I know Coach Belichick. Yeah, I don't know him great, but I know him enough. And Michael Lombardi, who works with him, is a friend of mine. And I've got to know Coach Belichick back my first year here, or I think it was the second year. I don't remember. We went to see Florida practice in the spring, and he was one of the clinic speakers. John Gruden, Urban Meyer, Steve Adazio, Charlie Strong. I mean, it was strong. And really strong. And we went out there. Jeff Watkinson, who's now with the Atlanta Hawks, was our strength coach. He went with me. And Tim Buckley went. And I got a chance to really watch Bill watch practice, you know, and see what he was looking for. And we have mutual friends, which have helped him. But he's a coach's coach. I mean, he's an absolute. That's one thing. That's why I never say much about what is said, because I think that's more for him, in the sense of that when he gives him his time like that, I think it should be private. But bottom line is he's a very helpful person to coaches, and as is Mike. And these guys got to hear from John Harbaugh last week in Maryland, and always want to have people around them that will tell them the truth, and that they'll get better because they heard from them, not to check a box. And certainly yesterday was one of those days they all got better because they heard from them.
You double up the front line, but it seems like Octavius has really brought stability this year. Is he getting better as the season goes along? Because he didn't show up for that.
Well, we thought he was the key to the game the first time. We prepared for him in the way that we had to play because he creates so many things. With the rebounding, he's been very consistent all year long. Tremendous defender. Plays without the ball, can get to the rim, making shots at Minnesota, cuts to the baseline. A great example of why he fits so well with them, because he's always doing something. He can play in the middle of the zone. It's a very hard matchup, and so you really have to pay attention to how you're guarding him constantly. And so a lot of it at times, and they've got a lot of good players, but he has a lot to do with their success. There's no question about it. Okay.
What do you have to do to move A.J. Hammons out of position defensively and, take him out of positions to where he can block shots like he did last game?
Well, we just have to do what you just said. It's up to him if he moves. Okay. Okay, it's up to him if he decides if he's going to come out and play, the ball screens or play the drives. Our job is to make him have to make decisions as much as possible, and more than we did up there.
Just something different. The NIT is looking at experimenting with a 30-second clock. From a coach standpoint, do you like the way it is now? Would you prefer the 30 seconds?
I prefer it to be 24.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We played with a 24-second clock in Montreal, I believe, right? Yeah. And we had the option. We loved it. So, absolutely. I mean, at 30 would be fine. But there's not as much, I shouldn't say that. I've been in some meetings where there hasn't been a lot of carrying the flag for it to shrink down. And that's disappointing. And, but then I'd be all for it. I'd be for it to be 30, 27, 24, whatever they want to do that makes the game faster. And hopefully the powers that be look at what's going to be best for the game and not necessarily what coaches want in this. And if it's not, if it stays at 35, it stays at 35. But what's going to be best for the game and the speed of the game and increase opportunities on both ends. Because obviously you're a good defensive team. You've got that many more opportunities to score off of your defense. And offensively, you've got that many more opportunities. So I think it'd be great. I hope that day comes. I don't know if it will. But the shorter the better for me, personally. And I think our team would enjoy the same thing. We're certainly not going to change our recruiting style to say let's try to slow it down and take it to the clock every time. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Coach.